I failed. You distracted me.
We are the Power Platform duo who specialise in Microsoft Power Platform. In this series, we explore retro games in Canvas apps.
So Alex, we've got Snake. What made you decide to create Snake in Power Apps?
So there's been a lot of requests coming in, and this was actually the first game I developed.
Oh, so you actually developed this before any of the requests came in?
Yeah, so this was one of the first ones. When I was younger, I used to play this on the old Nokias.
Now you're showing your age, aren't you?
Thanks. When I was young, thank you very much.
Very young.
Yeah. It was on my first phone.
And I've noticed here you've got a speedometer, so I can sort of slow it down, speed it up. Tell me a bit more about that.
Yeah, so what it does is it recalculates, or essentially calculates the next step every certain period.
Yeah.
So if you drag it all the way to the left, that's 2. So that's twice a second it's actually calculating.
Ah, okay, that makes the game a bit easier. What other recommendations could you do to this?
So the next step in this would be to sort of grow the size of the grid or decrease the size of the grid.
Okay, so like different levels.
Yeah, exactly. In the, I say later versions, they put in walls, and so therefore if the snake hit the wall, you failed.
Oh, okay. So this one you go straight through the wall, but you can do it where you would hit the wall as well.
Yeah, so there's the wall around the edges, and then also they put walls in the grid itself.
Ah, okay. One recommendation I could think of as well is actually, I love the speedometer at the moment being able to set it, but as you said, you mentioned that level and that sort of gamification piece. You could have that built in as well. So not only would the grid get bigger or there's more food, but actually the speed of it as you get larger as well. That could be really good. And that's certainly achievable within Power Apps, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
What would you say was the biggest challenge you faced?
Keeping the formulas understandable. The actual SVG can get quite complicated. I use the ampersand to concatenate strings and then be able to split strings across multiple lines and then be able to add comments in between each one. So I've got a comment that then says grid, and then below that have the like horizontal and then vertical lines. Then below that have a comment that then says snake, and then that draws out the snake. Then another comment that says food, does the food. So therefore when I'm coming back in the future, I can then very clearly see what each bit does.
And as developers, we both know how important that is for maintenance and picking up new releases and even picking up someone else's code. I can't emphasise how important that is.
Yeah, or even this one I came back to, and I did it months ago, and so looking through the code, it's a lot easier to just have.
So Alex, what would you suggest if I was to start this and I'm new to Power Apps? What sort of suggestions or recommendations would you provide me?
Start with just laying out the grid. It's an image control.
Yep.
And within that you create a string, which is your SVG. And so therefore you just concatenate strings to create your XML file or XML text. So for example, that grid, I did a for all with a sequence, which then allows you to just put out, I think it's actually 21 lines. And then there's the same for the rows and columns.
I failed. You distracted me. No, that's really useful, especially for new joiners to a sort of Power Platform. That's exactly why we're doing this game series, to have a bit of fun.
Please like, subscribe and click on the bell icon. Let us know in the comments below what you'd like to see in the future.